You're immediately like, oh my gosh, I'm about to have to get 11 jobs, or I'm gonna die, or I'm gonna end up on a pole or something. Hey guys, welcome to my channel. So in my last video, I was talking to you guys about the home buying process, the steps it takes from the time you decide to buy a house all the way up until closing day. Today, I'm actually gonna break down for you what are the costs associated with purchasing a house. So stay tuned if you wanna learn more. All right, so purchasing a house is an investment. It is gonna cost you some money. So I just wanna make sure you guys are realistically prepared for the costs associated with owning a home. It's definitely not one of those where you can wake up one day and be like, I'm gonna buy a house and expect to put no money down. Unrealistic. You need to get that out of your mind right now. You are going to need to have some money saved. However, it might not actually be as much as you think. So if you guys remember my last video, I talked about all the people involved in a real estate transaction. Just to recap for you, that's going to be your realtor, your mortgage lender, whoever's going to be doing your inspection, whoever's going to be doing your appraisal, and then the title company. So these are all the people that are going to be involved getting you from step A all the way until closing day. And there's going to be some costs associated with this. So first things first, the great news for you guys as buyers is when it comes to working with a realtor, it actually does not cost you a single penny, not a dime out of your pocket for you to actually hire a buyer's agent. So that's going to be the person helping you in that transaction. The buyer's agent commission actually comes from the seller's side. So if you guys have been thinking about buying a house, but you're like, oh, I don't want a realtor because I can't afford to pay that commission, relax. It would not cost you a penny unless you have a weird realtor, but I don't know if there's laws against that, but yeah. For the most part, actually, I would say like 99.999% of times, it's not going to cost you anything to actually hire a buyer's agent. So if that's what's been holding you back, calm down. That doesn't happen. So you're good there. Now, what you are going to pay for when you are purchasing a home is once you're under contract. If you guys saw my previous video, I did say there's some steps that need to take place to get you all the way to closing day. So the first things you guys are going to want to take care of is, of course, your home inspection and the appraisal. Home inspectors, as I mentioned before, those are going to be the people that are going to assess the house, make sure there is nothing wrong with it, again, that you don't need to get your roof replaced, that there's nothing major happening or wrong with the house itself, and there's a fee associated with that. Typically, the range is anywhere from $200 to $500. For a pretty decent company, you might see some wild company here and there that might charge more than $500, but for the most part, you're gonna see any home inspection can be done within the $200 to $500 range. Then we have the appraisal side. Those are the people that are gonna assess the value of the home. So like I mentioned in my previous video, just because the house is listed for $300,000 because that's what the seller came up with or the seller's agent came up with, that does not necessarily mean that that house is worth $300,000. So what the what the appraiser does is they'll come and they'll factor everything into consideration. They're gonna assess the house and they let you know, okay, this house actually is worth $300,000, or again, this house might actually be worth $290,000. So with the appraisal, again, the fees for that kind of range, but you're typically gonna be looking at least or just around that $500 mark for an appraisal. So a typical cost associated with going under contract, just to show how serious you are about actually purchasing the home, is you do put in some sort of earnest money deposit. Just kind of like a good faith to show like, hey, I really want this house. I'm willing to even put, I guess, yeah, it's a deposit. So it does, if that money doesn't disappear, like nothing weird happens to it, it's actually going to be applied towards like either your closing costs towards the end, or it can even be applied towards the cost of purchasing the house. But you are going to put in your earnest money deposit. With that, it does range as far as how much you're going to put. It can be anywhere from $500 to $1,500. Some places it's even to 1 or 2% of the purchase price. But yeah, so you do have that deposit. I don't believe all states require it, but for sure if you are in Florida, if you're gonna put in an offer, a serious offer, they're gonna wanna see some kind of deposit. So that is a cost that you're gonna have to make sure you at least have that saved up initially when you do put in your offer. Now, as a lot of you guys know, when you do purchase a house, you are going to be required to put forward some kind of down payment if you're going to be financing. So financing through a lender or a bank, whoever you're getting your mortgage loan from, they're going to require some kind of down payment, and the amount is going to be based off the kind of loan that you're going to get. So there are a few different loan programs out there. I'm just going to give you guys the main ones, the basic ones that most people already know about. So the first loan program, and the one that is more typical with first-time home buyers, not always, but the one I've seen the most often, is going to be your FHA loan. And with an FHA loan, it's going to be typically around 3.5% of the purchase price. So if we're going to work with a simple number, let's say $250,000, you're going to do your 3.5%. That's going to be what you're required to put as a down payment, which is going to be $8,750. And then another common type of mortgage loan is going to be your conventional loan. That one does vary as well. I know a lot of people think it's 20%, like cut and dry. That's actually not the case. The different programs available, so it can actually be anywhere from 5% all the way to 20%. Again, we want to keep the numbers simple, so I'm going to do 20% of the $250 price range of a house. And so with that one, your down payment, you're looking at $50,000. And then another program that's available for all you amazing veterans out there, thank you so much for your service. What's available to you guys is a VA loan. And the best part with that loan is, for the most part, there is no down payment associated. So your out-of-pocket costs are very, very minimal. And last but not least, we're gonna have our closing costs. So closing costs, again, the ranges vary, but typically you're going to look from anywhere from 3% all the way to 7% of the purchase price. With that, again, I just picked the number $250,000. I feel like that's pretty common, the average price in Orlando at least. So you'd be looking at about 10 grand worth of closing costs. So just to tie everything together, starting on the FHA side, again, the number I'm working with is $250,000 for the home price. So you're gonna have your home inspection, you're gonna have your appraisal, your down payment, your earnest money, and your closing costs. With an FHA loan, you're gonna be looking at a little bit over $20,000. So I believe it's actually like $20,500 and something. And then on the conventional side, you're going to be looking at a little bit over $61,000. So I know that sounds scary. You're immediately like, oh my gosh, I'm about to have to get 11 jobs, or I'm going to die, or I'm going to end up on a pole or something. I don't know. That's not the case at all. $20,000 to $61,000. Like, that's insane. I know that's a lot of money. That sounds so scary, especially if you haven't even started saving. That can seem so unrealistic. But fear not, there's actually a lot of programs in place to help you guys out. So when you are a first-time home buyer, depending on your state, of course, or your county, there are programs in place to help you out with some of these costs. So there are down payment assistance programs available through grants, other different methods that can help you cover some of the costs. And those kind of range anywhere, but I've seen some even like $7,000 towards down payment assistance, even more than that. So yeah, if you have a good lender in your corner, you have a good realtor that'll work for you, fight for you, there are programs available to be able to help you out with some of those costs. And then of course we have those closing costs. So I was working off, again, that $250,000 price range for a home. I picked 4%. Yeah, I picked 4%, just as a general number for that closing cost. And that's still $10,000, which that's a lot of money. Guys, please, I cannot stress enough how important it is to have a good realtor in your corner, because you do not, I repeat, you do not always have to pay those closing costs. When you have a good realtor working for you, negotiating on your behalf, you can either have the seller meet you halfway or some percentage with the closing costs, or with really good realtors, and depending on how competitive your market is, you can actually have the seller completely cover those costs. So don't stress out like thinking, oh my gosh, I'm still gonna have to put out this big chunk of money. Closing costs are not always 100%. You can have those costs covered for you completely, or like I said, you could be met halfway. So as I was saying before, with the FHA side, you guys would be looking at around $20,550 as your total out-of-pocket costs with the home purchase process. But with down payment assistance programs and a good realtor negotiating on your behalf, with some of those costs completely eliminated or covered for you, you can actually be a lot less than $3,000 out of pocket. So that $10,000 for the closing costs negotiated on your behalf. With a down payment assistance, depending on what program you have, you can have all of it completely covered or most of it covered, just depending on what you get. So we're bringing that down from a little bit over $20,000 to a little bit less than $3,000. You're welcome. And then on the conventional side, now if you are going to go 20%, there's not much you can do there. You're choosing that 20% down payment unless you have that down payment assistance. So we can say down payment assistance covering some of that cost, closing costs negotiated on your behalf. We're taking you from a little bit over $61,000 all the way to $30,000 or less. So if you can go conventional if you want to, you can go FHA. You will partner with the mortgage lender to figure out which program works best for you. But like I said, while you do have to save for buying a house, you do not have to break the bank. You do not have to be super stressed about this as long as you do your planning ahead, do your homework. Again, have the right people in your corner that are going to work for you and fight for you. Buying a house does not have to be this crazy, I'm gonna be broke to buy this house process. Just be smart about how you do it. That's it, guys. These are the main costs associated with purchasing a house. You might get a little bit extra fees here and there, such as if you're gonna do a home warranty, stuff like that. For the main part though, these are the costs that you're gonna see most often when you're doing your home buying purchase. Hope I covered all the info you guys were looking for. Please feel free to comment down below if there's anything you feel like I might need to add, or if there's anything that you want to know more on, and I'll make sure to add that in my next video. Almost forgot my shameless plug. So if this wasn't obvious, guys, I am a realtor. I am located in Florida. I service in Orlando or Central Florida for the most part. So if you are in Orlando looking to relocate, or you know someone in Central Florida who needs help with anything real estate related, please feel free to reach out to me, contact me. I will have all my contact info in the description box. But yeah, so don't be shy. If you are out of state and you need help finding a realtor, that's something I can definitely help you out with as well. And I will catch you in my next video, guys. Please don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe.